The screen flickers. You're here again. The same chair. The same light. The same habits repeating like echoes inside your day. You open your inbox before you've opened your eyes. You check messages you already know the answer to. You answer out of habit. You reply out of pattern. The calendar guides your day like it owns your breath. Outside, people call this productivity. Inside, something smaller and quieter is asking, is this it? Nietzsche never worked in your world. No Zoom calls, no Slack pings. But he saw this pattern centuries ago. Not in email, but in obedience. Not in deadlines, but in daily surrender. He believed before you ever work for a boss or for yourself, you work for a belief. And that belief, unchecked, becomes your cage. Because for Nietzsche, the goal of life was never safety, never comfort. It was expansion, tension, becoming. And if you wake up each day to repeat, you may not be working. You may just be disappearing. Friedrich Nietzsche believed that the deepest human instinct wasn't survival, not comfort, not security, not peace, but something far more dangerous and far more alive. He called it the will to power, not the power to control others, not domination, not politics, but the power to expand, to overcome, to become. It's the same instinct that pushes a tree toward the sun, that turns pain into poetry, that forces the artist to create, even when no one is watching. Nietzsche argued that life is not about preserving what already exists. It's about surpassing it. Where Freud saw the pleasure principle, where Darwin focused on survival, Nietzsche looked deeper, to the force that wants to go beyond. To him, the tragedy wasn't failure. It was obedience without reflection. A quiet, invisible surrender to routine. Most people, Nietzsche warned, won't chase growth. They'll chase comfort disguised as discipline, security disguised as sanity, a paycheck disguised as purpose. But in doing so, they shrink. They comply. They become less. The will to power doesn't ask what keeps you safe. It asks, what are you becoming? We live in systems that reward sameness, repeatable behavior, predictable results. Follow the format. Check the box. Don't ask too many questions. And the system will love you for it. It will call you reliable, promotable, mature. But Nietzsche saw something else happening in that silence. A spiritual decay. A slow betrayal of what makes us fully human. He wrote about the last man, a figure who seeks comfort above all else. He doesn't risk, because risk could cause pain. He doesn't question, because questions could threaten the script. He lives a long life, but a shallow one. He smiles, but he never climbs. And maybe that sounds familiar. Not because you're weak, but because the world quietly trains you to be agreeable, to keep your head down, to blend in. But Nietzsche's challenge wasn't to rebel loudly. It was to grow inwardly, to resist what dulls your becoming. Ask yourself, what part of you are you silencing, just to belong? What do you obey without knowing? What do you call discipline that's really just fear? Because the real question isn't, what are you doing today? The question is, What are you becoming by doing it? You don't need a boss to follow orders. Most of us do it on our own, perfectly, silently, automatically. Your routines, your calendar, your expectations. These are the new managers. They don't bark orders. They whisper. Be consistent. Don't question the formula. Even creators, freelancers, so-called free spirits, we build schedules that begin to shrink us. We wake up not asking what's possible, but what's due. Nietzsche warned us. He wrote, "He who cannot obey himself is ruled by others." But what does it mean to obey yourself? It means doing the hard thing when no one's watching. It means choosing discomfort when routine is safer. It means being your own authority, not just your own brand. We think comfort zones protect us, but they're just psychological cubicles. Safe, predictable, soul-numbing. You don't need to be micromanaged to be managed. You just need to forget to ask one thing. Who am I becoming when I stop choosing? Because it's possible to be your own boss and still never be free. Nietzsche believed true power wasn't about control over others. It was about creation, especially of yourself. Not just content, not just deliverables, but your inner framework, your values, your voice. In a world of deadlines, targets, and digital sameness, selfhood can quietly vanish, and the soul adapts to survive, not to grow. But Nietzsche's will to power isn't just ambition. It's the force to build your life from the inside out, even when the outside feels non-negotiable. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow, but you do need to reclaim what's yours. First, reserve one non-negotiable hour per day for your own self-directed work. Use it to write, learn, prototype, or reflect. Something that feeds who you want to become, not what you're paid to do. Schedule it like a meeting, because your future is your most important client. Nietzsche called idleness the space where the soul sharpens its sword. This hour is yours to sharpen. Second, audit your skill ladder. Identify which job tasks build transferable power. Communication, leadership, systems thinking. Reduce time spent on purely procedural tasks. Renegotiate responsibilities to focus on high-leverage work that feeds your future path. If you must stay in the system, learn to climb within it, but toward your values. Third, create a parallel income. Start building an asset outside your employer's domain. A newsletter, a design project, an info product, or mentorship. Apply Nietzsche's will to power, not to dominate, but to expand into autonomy. Aim first for $1 of self-generated income, then scale gradually. Every empire began with one outpost. Yours begins with one output. Fourth, create an anti-fragile routine design. Make time before work, not just after. Willpower declines by night. Use commute rituals, even if remote. Walking, journaling, 20-minute philosophical reads. Montaigne, Nietzsche, Seneca. These rituals rewire your internal framework. You stop preparing for work and start preparing for yourself. Fifth and final, build your exit strategy plan. If your goal is to exit the 9-to-5, make a 2-year power map. What do you need to learn? Who must you meet? What projects build credibility? not just cash. Nietzsche's model of self-creation is gradual and earned. You're not quitting, you're evolving. Use your mornings for becoming, not just preparing. Use your nights to build something unmeasured. Ask yourself, what part of my life feels truly mine? What am I making that wasn't assigned to me? Who am I becoming, outside the algorithm? This isn't rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's rebellion as rebirth. In sameness, we fade. In discomfort, we form. Most obey the structure. A few reshape it. And the first step isn't quitting. It's remembering you were meant to create, even while surviving. Because the day you stop creating yourself is the day the system finishes doing it for you. There's a moment just before the day begins when your mind is still your own. That moment matters because your routine will either kill your curiosity or sharpen your will. Nietzsche never handed out answers. He didn't teach escape. He demanded confrontation with yourself. He stood behind the thinker, behind the artist, behind the worker, not to guide them, but to ask, who are you willing to become? The world rewards what's clear, stable, familiar, but your soul doesn't care about safety. It longs for fire. It was made to overcome, to rise from guilt, to resist stagnation, to build something no one assigned to you. And yes, some days will feel small, some tasks meaningless. But inside even those moments, a deeper question waits. Are you using your time to repeat or to transform? Because the will to power is not loud. It's quiet. It's you, rising, not to survive, but to shape. In the end, Nietzsche's question was never about success. It was about the self. You weren't born to obey. You were born to overcome.